Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ, PK, and David Locke joins us every Friday. And David, this week, we need your brain. We need your creativity. We need your forward-looking thoughts. Because we've had a lot of people complain about the Jazz getting fined, right? It's these two teams. Why isn't these other 2, 3, 4, 5 teams? We all know there's 6 or 7 teams tanking. And we've had people complain, hey, they're getting fined for games they've won. And we've been over all of this, right? And there's lots of frustrating inconsistencies and all that. However, we also know the Jazz got fined for tanking, and we also know they are tanking. And we know that this has been going on in the NBA for 40 years. The Rockets got back-to-back number 1 picks. They got the Twin Towers with Olajuwon and Sampson, and they put in a lottery for 7 teams that didn't make the playoffs in response to that. They've been looking for an answer for this forever. And it's really sped up now because people are using rest and game management in addition to whatever injury that they can contort into taking players out. And a game management thing goes back 20 years, and that's Popovich, a legend of the game, saying, hey, the regular season doesn't really matter. We don't need 2, 3, 5 more regular season wins. This is about the playoffs. And he got 5 championships doing it, so you can hate it, but it worked. Now, obviously, it's getting to a point where TV partners have complained about stars not playing, and we got all kinds of complaints about the tanking. What can be done? And you did this with baseball. You were saying baseball's trending in the wrong direction. You gave us like 10 different ideas. And sure enough, when baseball picked up more momentum and got a bounce a few years ago, it's because they made 3 or 4 tweaks, the kind of tweaks the NFL makes all the time, and the NFL is the beast. So what can the NBA do big picture? Because I couldn't disagree more with this USA Today sports headline I'm looking at right now. The NBA handed out 2 big fines to organizations over tanking concerns, with Adam Silver delivering a forceful message. No. He irritated a couple owners. They're going to wave it away like a fly, and we can argue over which teams, but there'll be teams tanking next year, in 2 years, in 3. In 5 years, there'll be teams tanking. If they don't do something big and bold. You advocated bold for baseball. Either your ideas or ideas you've gotten walking around arenas, talking to people because you got to get to the arena 2 hours for a game or whatever it is. What do you got for us? What could the NBA do big and bold that changes the narrative on game management and changes the narrative on this tanking? Because when the best NBA players play at the highest level in the playoffs, it's wildly entertaining. How do we get that in the regular season?
So there's 2 things you have to do, and it's very complicated. So one is you have to still have a system by which the teams that are in developmental stage, that is just going to be a fact of life for teams at different times and periods, that you are in a developmental stage. So you need to have a system where teams at a developmental stage have the opportunity to get new talent and have a way, because free agency is not available to all teams, nor is it really available much at all right now. And not everyone can, make trades. So you have to have the draft still be a mechanism by which teams can get talent. That's the first thing. So you can't go to the wheel. You can't go. The wheel is the idea that everyone gets one of 30 picks over 30 years. You can't go to something where, the team that is the closest to the playoffs and won the most games that didn't make the playoffs gets the pick, because then you're actually going to have people tanking to miss the playoffs. You have to find a way to incentivize winning while still allowing teams to go through a developmental stage. The best answer I've heard on this is Kevin Pelton. This is radical. I don't think you can do it. But that you set a date randomly that is announced after the season is over. And the draft order is done based on the teams who don't make the playoffs win-loss record positively after that date. But you don't know the date going through the season.
Yeah, you're going to allow more conspiracy theories right there.
I do believe that could lead to some. I was just playing this out of my mind. It's the first time I've heard this one. in this way. It's kind of adjacent to other stuff I've heard. So teams would have to tank immediately while football was happening and nobody was noticing. And then they would play really hard at some point and bring all their guys out.
But the date could be the first day of the season.
Yeah. But if the Lakers get the number one pick, then PK's right. There's conspiracy theories from here until forever.
Right. So, I mean, I think that's an idea. There was a guy who wrote an article at Sport Track, or that's not the right name of it. It's
Sport Track, I think.
But his idea was that the top 4 teams are ineligible for the top pick. The bottom 4 teams are actually ineligible. That if you actually build a team that's so bad, but that seems I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
And so those teams automatically go to 5 through 8, and then the other teams, 10 teams, have a lottery, and half of them go 1 through 4, and the others go. I guess that would incentivize you because you want to be a part of the 1 through 4, and you don't want to be a part of the 5. You don't want to be 5 through 8.
What about the idea of no draft and you have to use your salary cap space to hire and all these guys coming in the NBA are free agents and you have to use your salary cap space to get them?
Yeah, but I think then no player ever goes to Memphis no matter what. Like, I think you have to have a draft. I think you have to have a draft as a mechanism by which that's the first thing I said. So I still think you have to have a draft as a mechanism for teams to – right now there's only 3 ways to acquire players: free agency, trades, and draft. If you eliminate one of those from teams, and there's a bunch of teams that also already don't have free agency, we don't have a very level playing field.
Right, we don't. Plus, the draft is another entry point for television, and they want to broadcast it. It's about entertainment. Yeah. And so the signing of free agents wouldn't be televised on all that stuff.
Right. And I don't really like the idea that you set – like, the other idea is you set a date, and then after that date, before the season, then you set a date, and then after that date, it's a positive record after that date. But then we literally just have, like, a tank standings like we do right now, frankly, up to that date. That doesn't solve anything.
I think all that stuff is fantasy. I'd rather deal in the reality of what's going on right now. And if I'm the Jazz, I just change the story and say, hey, this is what we're going to do because we have young players. We made the trades of the All-Stars 4 years ago, and we accumulated all these draft picks, and now these picks are actual players. And so we're not going to be a playoff team. What better time to get the most true form of evaluation is during the season. It's not in practice. It's not in the summer leagues. It is during the season, and we've got so many guys under 22 who show big-time potential. Isaiah Collier shows potential. Ace Bailey, the list goes on, obviously. And so we want to see what they can do. And if you think that is tanking, go ahead and think it. But we're actually trying to win at all costs for the 26-27 season, and this is in our best interest. And if you don't like it, here's my thumb on my nose, and I'm wiggling my fingers right at you. Go ahead and fine us, but we're going to get the last laugh, and we're a benefit to this league. We're not a detriment because we know what we're doing, and when we're losing, it's going to be a short time. We're not going to be like the Clippers were, obviously under Sterling for so many years, and how Washington is and how Charlotte has been. They got it going this year finally. Good for them. And these other teams, Sacramento minus the Bibby years and those guys, they've sucked forever. No, we are a plus. We're an asset to the league, and we will show you. We are trying to win for the 26-27 season, and nothing is going to get in the way of us trying to accomplish that.
Well, yeah, and I don't think Adam Silver's going to find the Jazz again because he doesn't have a press conference coming up in 2 days.
PR strategy, disaster containment. See, I did something.
Right, he couldn't go. No, this is all this is. Like, I apologize if somebody thinks this is like whether it's my bosses or fans to think this is a ridiculous. This was only because Adam Silver has a press conference coming in 2 days, and he couldn't look like an idiot at a press conference saying he hadn't done anything about tanking when somebody had orchestrated that the media talk about it for 3 days because they benefited out of it. That's all that's going on. I said a whole podcast on it. I have no doubt. This was an orchestrated media effort by someone who benefits from the Jazz being put in the spotlight. The Jazz being put in the spotlight is too strange and too weird unless there's somebody out there that benefits from it. Somebody does. They put the Jazz in the spotlight. Adam Silver got screwed because there's no Super Bowl to talk about anymore. And so the entire national media was talking about this. And Adam Silver didn't want to go to a press conference in 2 days and stand up there and get asked about tanking and having done nothing. So it cost Ryan Smith $500,000. It's garbage. That's what happened.
Yeah, well, nothing has been addressed. In terms of solutions, the Jazz actually are a solution to the tanking problem. This is the way you do it.
Right.
And this is and they'll get out of it. And for the next 10 years, starting in October, Adam Silver, whoever is the commissioner, they're going to have to worry about the Jazz. The Jazz are going to be right back winning again.
100%. And the fact is, the most important thing for this 25 games is to find out whether Isaiah Collier, Kyle Filipowski, H. Bailey, Cody Williams, and Bryce Sensabaugh are good enough to play on a playoff team. That's what we need to find out.
Exactly. They ought to be
against
applauded.
Orlando, they weren't, and against Miami, they were.
The answer is they are.
I don't know.
Okay. Why not? And which players?
Because I just think the kind of wins we're having to go get coming up are just so dramatically different than anything we're doing right now. And, right now, I get it's hard on the fans, and I get it's not very much fun for the players, but it's pretty easy, right? You get blown by 3 times in a row on a defensive possession right now, and you get to go try for the 4th possession. You're trying to win 50 games in the NBA season. You get blown by in 3 straight possessions. You don't play for a week.
I don't think they'll get blown by when they have 3 7-footers playing behind them. I thought that. Yeah, I thought the Portland game with all the tall guys out looked dramatically different.
Yeah. I'm not blown by. Was just trying to use an example of
I think what we're seeing.
I'm not trying to say anything, but I can be totally critical of all 4 of them if I want to be, but that's because as Will Hardy astutely said at the end of last year, you need to make sure your weaknesses are good enough that your strengths can show. And right now, we just deal with their weaknesses. It's just fine. It's not a problem. It's fine. Because if we win, it doesn't matter because development matters. It matters if we win next year. Those weaknesses are not fine. Not rotating on defensively, not cutting offensively, not being able to make a shot, not being able to cover someone on a switch, not grabbing a rebound you need to grab. All those things that right now you go look at film with your coach and they say, hey, when you're up here in the high right, and the ball moves and they're sagging off you, you've got to cut and take your defender with you. You don't do that 2 times, 3 times in a row. You don't play anymore. Right now, you look at film and the coaches say, hey, we really need to do this. Can we look at this? Look at this tomorrow when you're playing. But that's not what happens next year. It's just a totally different world. And so I'm very reluctant to just automatically say that all of them are ready to go. And that's why the next 30 days or 30 games are wildly important for them to be used in that fashion. And frankly, for Lowry Markkanen and Keontae George, I know I don't need to see anything. I know who they are.
But see, that's
the
thing
league has no authority to tell them not to do this. They have no right and no authority.
I just said this in my podcast. Here's the total bullcrap. In Orlando, Jaren Jackson and Lowry Markkanen both played 9 minutes in the 3rd quarter. Okay? If Will Hardy just spaced it out, so it's 3 minutes in the 3rd quarter, and then they sat, and then they came back in for a 3-minute stint that gapped the 3rd and 4th quarter, and they when we were down 8, they came back in for 3 minutes to end the 4th quarter? Would have we been all right? Probably.
No, because that goes back to your original point that that's not what this is about. This is about somebody else complaining so that they benefit, Oklahoma City Thunder, who want the draft pick.
But they couldn't have gotten their mouthpiece, Bobby Marks and Brian Windhorst, to go, well, Will Hardy's substituted Lowry Markkanen 2 minutes later than usual in the regular rotation. That's boring television.
Why are those guys the mouthpieces of the OKC Thunder?
I don't know.
Who?
I mean, I just assume it comes back to the local media in a lot of situations. And you and I were in the tunnel at the Delta Center, and there was somebody from Chicago who was saying the same thing. Every club is buddying up to certain people in the national media, including the Jazz have done it pretty clearly. I've seen national people go walking across the floor during practice where local people aren't allowed to. They roll out the red carpet for the national media because they're trying to impact whatever storyline is out there. And so everybody picks somebody. I don't know why they specifically pick them, but everybody picks somebody and tries to build a relationship and get their story out there without their fingerprints on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. The thing I will say, one more thing, and we can get into this another week with you, about these young guys, is the thing I think that I've seen watching them play here is a lot of these guys are not ready for starter minutes, but they are ready to beat up on backups. And I think that's where a lot of these young guys have gone. Keontae aside, he's going to be in the starting lineup. And it's not really clear to me about Ace Bailey just because it is so early. But some of these other guys, the starting minutes might be hard, but the backup minutes are starting to look pretty easy, and they're looking pretty confident in those situations. You know, I love Sensabaugh coming off the bench. I don't think you want to start him and play him 35 minutes a night. But if he's going to come off the bench as a sharpshooter, he's going to make an impact. And I think given how good the other guys you were talking about are, that we know who they are, I don't think there's going to be a lot of heavy lifting done for these guys to get the team to the top 8. Maybe I'll be proven wrong.
Here's my point. and I think you're right. And I'm a big fan of Bryce, and I think he's gotten way better. I think he's even gotten better defensively. You just called him a sharpshooter.
At times.
What's he shooting?
Streak shooter. I probably shouldn't have called him sharpshooter.
But honestly, what's he shooting?
I'll have to look up the number. You know what it is. You can just tell me.
I think he's shooting 33% from 3, which is 3 points below league average. That's a great example. We are just letting that go. That is fine right now because he's a great shooter and he gets hot. He does all these things. He's showing signs. That's fine. If you're trying to win 50 games, he has to shoot 40%. If he is your shooter off the bench in this day and age and you're going to win 50 games, he has to shoot 40%, not 33. That is the best example of what I was trying to say earlier. And it's not that I'm not trying to say Bryce is not good enough. I'm just saying that what we're allowing to have happen right now, because we're winning 20 games, and we then call it good enough, is not good enough anymore.
Yeah, I had put that bar more at all these deficiencies are going to show up in the playoffs. That because they're just trying to make the playoffs, even absorbing 30 losses isn't a big deal. But when they get to the playoffs and teams have 2 weeks to hone in on this, it's going to be a major problem.
I mean, these are I'm not trying to bury these guys. I think they all have a chance, but I just want to make sure we all understand that the world's changed. And I think it's fascinating to watch happen. And I think it's going to be an incredible next 2 months to watch this. But, go look at other teams' rosters. There are not off-the-bench shooters that shoot 33% that aren't the 5 best defensive players in the NBA. Bryce is up to 34.5, by the way, just in fairness.
Yeah. Okay.
But Kyle's at 33 as a stretch 4, okay? That doesn't exist. Isaiah Collier. There are 3 NBA players right now who play 20 minutes a night, are guards, shoot less than 3 threes a game, and make less than 30%. Amen Thompson and Dyson Daniels, the 2 best on-ball defenders in the NBA, and Isaiah Collier.
Well, David, we'll leave it right there. We'll have more weeks to talk about this. Enjoy your time off. Get some skiing in.
I am at Snowbird right now in the van.
Okay. Get out there. We'll let you go.
So I'm off. All right.
All right. Thank you, David.
See ya.
David Locke, join us right here. Coming up, we're going to the Olympics. Sam Farnsworth is in Italy covering it for KSL. You're seeing him on TV, and he is going to join us on the radio in about 15 minutes from Italy and talking Olympics. Stay with us.